Good morning. Well, I got to clean out the back of my truck, so I figured I would make a little video on what I carry when I'm running around out in the desert. Actually, I carry this stuff all the time unless I'm hunting and I have the truck full of ice chests, so that's about the only time I don't have this stuff in the truck. So I'll get started with the first box. I carry 2 boxes, and then I have some miscellaneous stuff strewn out all over the bed because I'm just simply too lazy to put a right box in. Anyway, some of the first stuff I have a hose for my online compressor. I have an online compressor in my engine compartment, and I just pop the hood if I need to fill some of these tires up or my own tires. And that includes a simple gauge so I can see what the pressures are. I have various hitches, different wood blocks. I think wood blocks are really important, especially in the sand, because if you have a jack or something and you're trying to use it, you might as well forget using just the jack itself in the sand. It needs to be on something. Here's one of my winch extensions. I use old sleeping bag stuff bags. This is a 100-footer, and I just stuff it in there, and to date, since doing this, I have yet to have a rope tangle. You can have a passenger in the car actually attach this to whatever you're recovering or whatever you need to attach it to, and then have the person hanging out the window with the bag, and you can actually drive out probably as fast as you can, and it doesn't get tangled. So you can undo 100 feet really quickly. Most of the time, and I probably don't because I had soft shackles everywhere, I don't throw anything other than the rope in this bag. When I first started, I put some soft shackles in it, and that turned out to be a mistake. So it's just the rope, and like I said, they work great. I would highly recommend doing that if you haven't ever tried it. Give it a try. You can usually find these things all over the place. In fact, this one I think I found at an old campsite that was abandoned, and it had a little burn hole in it because they had it near a fire, but it still worked great. Still works. I carry, this one's another bag that I had. I just had an old hazmat bag, and I use it for a second rope, which is another 100 feet. And in this bag I carry soft shackles of various kinds. Some of them are a little more worn out than normal. I carry a small strap. If I need to use it, I have a strap. I carry a short Trailmater recovery rope, and I got to tell you, this 10-foot rope is great on when you're pulling on trails where you have a driver that won't run into the back of you. It's great. You can get around corners way better with a shorter rope. Saves you from trying to double up a 20 footer or a 30 footer, and it just works. These are made by Yankum ropes, and I really appreciate their ropes. They work really great. Since buying Yankum rope equipment, I have stopped buying all of the other ones, and I do have other ones, but I pay a little bit extra money for these, but they just work. It's fun to watch the rope stretch in a video. You can actually physically see the thing stretch, and then that power, that kinetic energy, just takes off and yanks the vehicle right out. But lots of soft shackles, and when I say lots, I have like 6 or 7 of them around, and I really want like 10 or 12. I don't think you can ever have enough soft shackles, and I don't think you can have enough regular steel type shackles. If you have 2 or 3, get 6, because the day you run out is the day you're going to say, oh, I needed more, and that's not when you need to know that. Let's see, I have a 20 footer. This is a Beaver rope. No, this is a 20 footer. And honestly, it works pretty good. I have no complaints with it. I haven't used it much. Most of my recoveries are in sand, and I don't do a lot of kinetic pulling in the sand because I can't get close enough to the person to do it, or I'll get stuck. Another soft shackle. So that's what's in that bag. I have a couple tree straps from Badlands Harbor Freight. By the way, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but these are real nice straps. They don't break the bank when you buy them, and they work for all kinds of different situations, just more than trees. Here's the original one I had. And I had a recovery earlier this year, that was really heavy, and I used this, and I damaged this one. So I don't use it on things that are critical for heavy loads, but I still use it. It's still got some life left in it, but it's one that I damaged, and pretty soon it's going to see the junk pile. I have some shackles. I have some rubber deals for my jacks, to where if it's a real pretty shiny vehicle kind of thing, I can put these rubber ones in on top of the lift and further protect the vehicle. More shackles. Couple snatch blocks or pulleys, or whatever you want to call them. They're actually made for rope. They're not a cable pulley. I use them a lot, by the way. More shackles. A protector. Just I guess this is like a nylon protector. This is from Trailmater, and I think it came with my rope, but you can Velcro that onto something that you need to protect the rope, like if you're dragging it across the bottom of the dirt or a rock. You can put it in that vicinity and it'll protect the rope from the rocks. You might destroy this, but you won't ruin your rope. Then I have an old-fashioned I think this is a 30-foot tow rope. And there's times when you don't need a kinetic rope to tow. So I have this, but I gotta be honest, I haven't used it much since getting the other ropes. More airlines with the fitting already attached so I can hook it up to my onboard compressor. This is 50 feet. Pain in the ass to coil up. I don't use it much. If I can get close to the vehicle to fill it up, or my own vehicle, I use that smaller hose I showed you earlier. But if I can't get close to the vehicle, then I use this. It works good. Y'all have seen one of these, right? This is again by Yankum Ropes, and this thing's slick. The offset is an awesome feature. Whoever thought of that was genius. I use these. Personally, I like my snatch blocks pulley setup better, but I still use these and they work great. This is the first one I bought, and it works great too. I've actually used it a lot, and I figured, I was afraid of damaging it and putting nicks in it and stuff, but to date I haven't done that, and it works great. If you're really pulling a super duper heavy load, you'll notice that your winch line going around this thing tends to start melting off the paint or whatever it is that it melts, but you'll see your winch rope get hard and flat and brittle, and all you have to do is kind of like break it apart, push it back and forth together, and all that stuff will go away. But you can tell that you have pressure on a rope when you use one of these. There's no doubt about it. But I use them. Then I have a really long super duper, I think this is forget what gauge this is. I think it's 1/0 with a 150 amp connector on it. This is for jump starting vehicles that are a little bit further away from my truck, or charging somebody's battery. And I've used this a lot, believe it or not, and it's worth having one of these. And another rubber thing for my jacks. That's about it for that box. Let me get into the other box. I'll be right back. Okay, some other things I have. Again, wood blocks. I have wood blocks. I have some wheel chocks that come in handy every once in a while. A couple different hitches. A small jack. A shovel. And some gas. Okay, another thing that I carry, which I think is vital to me, is a Milwaukee M18 fuel impact wrench. These things are worth their weight in gold. I kid you not. If you don't have one of these, save up your pennies and get one. There are places that have sales on these all the time. Wait for a sale and get yourself one. The Milwaukee stuff isn't cheap, and I guess that may be for a good reason. And in this bag is all my impact stuff. Of course, I carry the charger. have both SAE sockets and metric sockets for the impact wrench. I carry a torque wrench, good size ratchet, various wobble sockets. I'm not going to pull them all out. This is 9/16. Those are handy. Other than that, there's some extensions in there and miscellaneous sockets. I'm not going to pull those all out. But all of them have been handy. I have just recently started carrying axle nut sockets, various kinds. I've used, believe it or not, I've used the daylights out of the 32 millimeter. Don't ask me why. All small cars. These are great. 1.5 are handy. No, actually they're all handy, but I use this one a lot. 1.5 hex. Believe it or not, I don't use a lot of the round. They got the rounded edge. I don't use these a lot, but they sure push them. This again is just a cheap kit from Harbor Freight. It's almost cheaper to buy the entire kit than to buy just one socket. So if you don't have those and you're looking for something like that, check out the Harbor Freight kit. It's made by Maddox, and they're cheap, but they work good. Okay, starting on the second box that I have, and I got to tell you, it's really good to go through what you have in your recovery kits, because if you're like me, I forget, and it's good to revisit what's in them from time to time. So the first thing I pulled out was this bag. I don't like bags with zippers. Okay, I have a garbage bag for trash, a couple crescent wrenches, pliers, another crescent wrench, another little shovel. By the way, this shovel is older than I am. Still works good. More pliers, ant poison, just some cheap cotton rope for whatever. Sometimes you need to hang up a tarp or something, you need something to tie it off with. This stuff works great. Small pair of jumper cables. My first aid kit. That's in that bag. Garbage bags are handy for trash. Okay, that's the first bag. Okay, this is another yank rope. I just throw them in there. That's a 30-footer. These things are great. And to be honest, I think I'd rather be outside of the truck and watch those things stretch rather than be the person driving. Anybody tell me what that is? You really need to carry one. Okay, I have a bead breaker. I'm not sure I'm going to continue carrying this because there's just other bead breakers that are superior to this. And honestly, while it works for 15-inch rims, it doesn't work very good for other size rims. I'd have to modify it to make it work with other rims, but there's better bead breakers. I think if you go to Colt Builds It, he just did a video on his bead breaker options, and it's a great video. You should watch it. But he's got a bead buster, and that's a really nice unit. Kind of pricey. You can buy the same kind of item in Phoenix for about $79, and I'm tempted to try this. Okay, I forget where I was. My camera died again. I gotta tell you, if you're gonna be interested in doing little videos like this, don't buy a GoPro because they can't handle the desert. Anyway, this is a 30-foot Yankum rope. I think I already showed you that. Then I have this arrangement. I forget what they call it. I've only used it a couple times. It's got the short hook on it, but it's handy under a vehicle without having to get under there and put soft shackles and stuff like that on if you don't need it. I have a little jack for little cars, and I have the impact wrench adapter on it, which is really handy. Great for little cars. Another shovel. Couple tire irons. Funnel. Bottle jack. Complete toolkit, socket set, wrenches, pliers. What I do need to get are some more channel grips. I have extra pins all over my truck. I have lug nuts all over my truck, extra in various sizes. And then I have Bertha, which I don't want to lift up. Another thing that I've found that's out handy is a magnet stick. When's the last time you lost a spring or anything in the dirt and you can't find it? It's just a broom handle with a magnet on the end of it. Works really well. And that's about it. I know it's kind of hard to see, but if I have a recovery that I know I'm going to need some kind of lift, I have a lift that attaches to the back of my truck. It's winch driven. I have 12-volt power to the back of my truck, so I can just plug it in and with the hand control lift roughly 2,000 pounds, but I limit it to way under 1,000. If I know I'm going after a motorcycle or an ATV, I usually bring this trailer. Right now I just have 13-inch tires on it because I haven't been able to find a cheap pair of 15-inch rims. I need to get 15-inch rims and tires. And I have this trailer. It has a winch on it for larger stuff like UTVs. Doesn't fit all vehicles, but it fits the UTVs that run around here and break. So this winch, hand winch, is the old-fashioned boat winch, but it's a 2-speed, and believe it or not, it'll winch a lot of weight. So it works for now. I built this trailer just out of an old boat trailer, and it has served the purpose.